Hello lovelies, welcome back to Squeaky's Cauldron, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm your host, Sarah Evergreen. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to come hang out in my weird witchy corner of the internet. Today we're going to be talking about Hekate, specifically some epithets of Hekates that are particularly useful in a period of time that may feel rather rage-inducing. Before we get into that, if you are enjoying these videos, please like, comment, subscribe, share these videos to the farthest corners of the earth. And if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, you can check out the link in the description or head over to squeakyscauldron.com/coaching. All right, now on to the show. So I originally wrote this episode shortly after Roe v. Wade was overturned in the United States, and it became very clear that women's reproductive rights were not a matter of concern, which means that women's bodily autonomy was not a matter of concern for the lawmakers in the United States. The reason I've decided to record this now is in the wake of Mahsa Amini's death and the protests that are currently happening in Iran. It feels like the right time to get this out into the world. So these epithets or names of Hekate can be used in a variety of ways in order to essentially summon up the archetype of the energy that the epithet is attached to. And when we are facing any situation where we feel our autonomy, our sovereignty being taken away from us, we can lean on the power of Hekate and her archetypes and these epithets in order to bring that through in ourselves and to remind ourselves that we are not powerless. The lawmakers, people who threaten our bodies and our lives, they do not have ultimate power over ourselves. And it's very important to remember that. Otherwise, it's very easy to get lost in a place of hopelessness and in, honestly, a place of shame, because what comes along with hopelessness is a sense of shame, is a sense of smallness. And you are not small. I am not small. We are not small. We may experience setbacks. We may experience pain. We may even experience death. But we are so much bigger than that. And I want you to remember that. And I'm hoping that this episode will help keep that at the forefront of your knowledge, your experience, and your imagination moving forward. Before we jump in, as I like to do with every episode where I talk about Hekate, I would like to open up the space to allow her to come through, and I'm going to offer a prayer to Hekate, my standard 9 keys prayer that I have adapted from the work of Cynthia Brannen. I will link her in the show notes, and I will also include a copy of this prayer in the show notes for your use or for you to take and adapt in any way that you see fit. So, if you want to skip forward, this will probably take maybe 2 or 3 minutes, so feel free to do that if this is not really your jam. If it is, however, I would like to welcome you, if you are in a safe place, to go ahead and close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. Allow yourself to get in touch with your breath and to feel the earth beneath you, whatever you're sitting on or standing on or laying on, to feel that support under you and to know that that support is always available. Hail Hekate, Queen of Witches. My journey is a blessed one. Each key you grant me unlocks great power. Grateful I am for all your keys. The key of connection, which reminds me I'm not alone. The key of solitude, in which I may come home to myself. The key of acceptance, for that which I cannot change. The key of courage, to face and overcome adversity. The key of desire, which brings me closer to you. The key of vision, so that I might move freely. The key of honesty, which brings me peace. The key of curiosity, so that I might live a life of truth and joy. And the key of devotion. Hekate, I live my life in service to you. Guide me. Make me ready. Illuminate my next right step. Help me to align more fully with my highest purpose and my highest self, so that I might better serve you, serve myself, and serve those around me. Aho. Thank you. Thank you for joining me in that if you did, and thank you for knowing your boundaries if you didn't. Hekate has a ton of epithets that I got a lot of this information from a Patheos article written by Matt Oren, who's the author of Psychic Witch. If you haven't checked out that book, it's very good. I will link the article in the show notes, of course, so that you can go and check out just the wide variety of epithets that Hekate has, because she's such a diverse goddess. She's applicable to so many aspects of our lives. The first epithet that we're going to work with today is Hekate Agripi. It means wild-eyed, fierce-faced, savage watcher, and wild-voiced. So Hekate is a goddess of three faces. She sees the past, present, and the future. She exists in the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world. She has this ability to see all as it's happening. And in this way, this is what I believe the wild-eyed aspect of Hekate Agripi relates to. She is fierce-faced in that she has no room for bullshit. For your bullshit or my bullshit or the bullshit of the people who are making laws and who are attacking women and trans people and non-binary people and just people in general. People who use their power in order to subjugate anyone that they believe is of lesser power. That is someone who Hekate has zero tolerance for. The wild-voiced aspect of Hekate Agripi calls on us to use our voices in protest to this kind of treatment, to stand up and to speak out when we see something happening. And the savage watcher aspect of her sees through words like, "It's just a joke," and "don't be so sensitive." Her lantern is stronger than any gaslight. And we can call upon Hekate Agripi when we need to see clearly and speak clearly in the places that matter and about the things and people that matter to us. The next epithet I want to talk about is Hekate Demno Damia. This is subduer of subduers. And I think the relevance of this particular epithet is probably very clear. Hekate, we can call upon this energy when we are facing people who want to subdue us, who want to bring us down, who want to make us smaller than we are. Hekate Damno Damia will help us to gather the energy and the strength and the knowledge and the collaboration and the community that we need in order to subdue those who would subdue us, to temper their power, to bind them in a way that makes them less able to be horrible and hurt us and hurt those we love and hurt people in our communities and our lives and our world. This epithet can serve to galvanize us for a fight and to remind us that we are not powerless. So if you are in a situation where you have to go head to head with something or someone who is frightening, who feels like Goliath to your David, call upon Hekate Damia for that strength and for the knowledge that we can overcome and we will overcome all of this. The pendulum is swinging. The next epithet is, I believe, very well connected to Hekate Damia, and hopefully I am going to pronounce this next name properly. If I don't, please let me know. So we are moving on to Hekate Katakamos. Yeah, Katakamos. It's quite a mouthful. And what it means is the bender of proud necks. And what neck is prouder than the white man in Congress saying, I know what you have to do with your body? Or the self-righteous man saying, you deserve to die because of how you've lived your life. Hekate Katakamos can be called upon to bring some humility into a situation where pride has led to violence, has led to subjugation, has led to any kind of oppression of anyone. The controls that are being put into place now, and that have been in place for a long time, these are put into place by people who lack humility, who lean on a religious ethos that they don't actually understand the core of, much less live by. And people who are living in a self-righteous bubble, disconnected from the human experience around them. Now, when you're calling upon Hekate Katakamos, it is important to remember to tap into your own humility and not to become one of those proud necks. I think it can be very easy to see someone in a self-righteous bubble and create our own self-righteous bubble, saying that, well, I'm justified for having this response to this person because they're so wrong. But when we, to use a cliche, fight fire with fire, we just get more fire. We have to remember to be humble. And as I talked about in the Jesus the Christ part, the second episode, humility is not, I'm down here and I'm looking to you up here. Humility is, I am here and you are here and we are equal because we are human. And we need to operate on that level of we are equal, not you're bad or I'm bad or I'm better than you or you're better than me. Because when we do that, we're living in a lie. Because we are all equal. We are all human. We all have the same grounding. Our actions can be very detrimental. Our actions, though, are born out of positioning ourselves above or below another. And other people's actions, too, the ones that cause harm, are born out of this response as well. So, Katakamos asks us to remember to bend our own necks, not to another man, not to another human, but to God, to Source, to love, to our equality, to our values and our virtues. The last epithet I want to talk about today is Hekate Locus, protector of birth and goddess of childbearing. Now, the reason that I included this when I originally wrote this outline was because of Roe v. Wade. And that decision obviously was about abortion, but the thing is, you can't divorce abortion from child rearing in general, childbearing in general, rather, because they are part of the same spectrum. This epithet protects the sanctity of childbearing. And when we take choice out of something, we destroy its sanctity. So let me put this another way. When we say that we have to love God, for example, when we take that choice out of it, the loving God becomes something that is performative, becomes something that many of us can see in a church on a Sunday where people go and make the motions, but without the depth. If we are not allowed to choose to do something or not do something, then the act of doing it begins to lose its potency. This epithet helps to enforce the sanctity of the entire childbearing process and all of the choices that are inherent in that, and supports the safety of anyone who is moving through this process. So, how does one work with an epithet? Essentially, I think the most pointed way to use them is through prayer. You just call upon this particular aspect of Hekate as you're praying to her, and in that way invoke and evoke that spirit of that particular avatar of hers. And another way to do this is in meditation and in chanting, and I will include a meditation that incorporates all 4 of these epithets that will be published along with this episode so that you can utilize that, kind of get yourself familiarized with the epithets and how they work and feel in your body really is the most important thing. So I hope that this episode can bring you a way to express some of that rage and to find some grounding in your power, in your ability to move and to make choices and to stand up and say the thing and do the thing that needs to be done. Please take care of yourselves. First and foremost, take care of yourselves. Give yourselves the space that you need to process whatever it is you need to process, and to move in a way that is grounded and not out of fear. Our anger is powerful, and it can be powerfully destructive. So allow that to be something that you meditate on at some point. How best to use the power of your anger. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. And if you're interested in working with me, again, check out the link in the description or head to squeakiescauldron.com/coaching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Moon Pages. It's a bi-monthly newsletter that talks about all things moon magic. It's got custom tarot spreads and mini rituals, among other things. And next week, we are going to be talking about astral projection. So this is something that I don't have a whole lot of experience with, so I'm going to be doing a deep dive and getting into all things juicy astral projection. I will see you next week, and until then, my lovelies, use your voice.